You guys are punctual, and I love that.
Typical German, you know?
Yeah.
Hi,
Hey, man, how you doing?
fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. I was just telling Simon like you guys are punctual, and I love that.
Yeah, typical Germans.
Yeah. That's like me. I'm 5 minutes early to everything. So
To
but
be honest, we are not punctual usually.
usually.
Sometimes.
So I'm just gonna take that as this was an important thing. So that's why you
Yeah,
guys are on time.
exactly.
Well, thanks for being here. I'm not going to fuck around. We'll get right to it. I've got a handful of questions for you guys, but if things veer off in one direction or another when you guys are talking, just let it go. Let it wherever it goes is fine with me. Because it all it's like if you watch my video, it's all kind of started several months back when I first got introduced to your band,
Mhm.
and a lot of it is my connection with the music and these days because I kind of came of age musically in the early 90s. That was when I was really like getting into all of my shit the very first time. And flash forward to today where I'm still just as interested in music, but there's so much out there
Mm.
that's new, and on top of that so many bands that even if they're good, sound a little bit too similar to a bunch of other bands. And so sometimes it's hard to just, get through the sea of all these bands. And for a band like Slope to come out and literally just break through all of that, because it's very rare that an album comes out and I like it and want to repeatedly listen to it. And it basically like fills a void that I'd been feeling, which is
Bro,
which is
Thank
not
you.
just it's not just the funk metal aspect of it, which I think is sorely missing in a lot of music these days, but just the idea of a band that doesn't necessarily uh, fit into some sort of mold and surprises me along with entertaining me. So that got me really into you guys, and then really like my brain immediately goes to uh where how did this all start. So I guess we can go back to the beginning because I know you guys have been around at least a decade, right? About 10 years or
yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Even more.
yeah. And when the band was formed, were there different people involved? And a really good question for two of you, was the idea of two vocalists always a thing that you guys were going to be doing?
No.
No. Do you want Simon or
Yeah, I can start the thing. So it's so we started the band. I would say it was something like in so we started Slope in 2012 with the
Okay.
name Slope,
Hmm.
and it was me, Fabio, and our guitarist Philip,
Hmm.
and we had no, Patrick was not in. No. Patrick joined later, the drummer,
Yeah.
Hmm.
and
Yeah, I
our
was on
bass
the drum.
player Yoshi joined even later. But we started the band even earlier, or we started doing music when we were, I don't know, 16. So we were really into beatdown music, really hard and slow music. And I guess we had the idea that it would be cool to do something with your friends. Me and Fabio and also Philip, we know us since we are kids. We
Hmm.
went to the same school. And we had just the idea that it would be cool to do something together. And there was this, we had two options. One was doing a band, and the other one was doing a bar. And since we were too young for doing a bar, we started the band, even though we had no idea of making music. Really, it was Philip who could play Wonderwall on guitar,
Yeah.
but that's
Right.
it. That's it. So just started the band because we wanted to have a band. And Fabio, he was supposed to be the second guitarist, but on the first rehearsal, we found out that he cannot play guitar. So
But for me, it was so bad. It was so bad that I just asked Simon, "Yo, can I sing too?"
yeah,
And that's where we started. But we have like to bring back in time since we know each other our whole lives. I know Simon since I'm 4. I know Jizzy, our guitarist, since I'm 5. We lived almost our whole lives together. The first flat we had was together. I even now live in the same house like Jizzy, our guitarist. So we're like lifelong friends. So yeah, I think that is a big part of Slope also.
And we found
Yeah,
out that it's easier to have two vocalists than having two guitarists who both cannot play guitar, you know.
yeah.
Easier to just scream a little bit and shout. And that's the story behind the two singers, yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, now that you mention it, without even thinking about it, the music sounds like it's made by people who have known each other for a while. There's a familiarity. There's something about it because it's the kind of music that you can't. I don't think any one person could sit down and write it. It feels like a very like a group oriented thing, which leads me to my next question: the songwriting process. Does Philip kind of create a skeleton of a song, or do you guys jam together and ideas come out of that? How do the songs come about?
Yeah, we meet up in the rehearsal room, and we only got like, I don't rules is the wrong name for it, but we got like two things that we like take an eye on. The first is we just write music when we are all five together. We don't do like riffs per Skype or something like that.
Right.
And the second one is if four people like something and one of us don't like it, we don't do it. Every five of us needs like to feel it. So because we do it live, and when it's just a bad feeling, if I wouldn't like know, Jizzy don't like the riff, but everybody of us likes it, and on stage I'm looking to him and see he don't feel it right now, then it's shitty. And I think that one real big positive factor about this long time friendship is that we can be brutally honest with each other. Like when someone comes up with an idea and we don't like it or don't fuck with it, we just say, no, it's bad, but it's no bad blood or anger or something like that. It's just like, okay, then it is what it is.
Sometimes there is a little bit anger.
Yeah, but not like anger and I'm really pissed, really pissed. It's just like you don't have like to fear the reaction of each other because we know us for so long, so good that you just can like bring it to the table.
Yeah. But what is also interesting about the writing process of Slope is first what Fabio said, that we are all together. We are writing. Maybe someone is coming up with an idea. So most of the time, Philip has a riff, which he jammed in the rehearsal room. And then we're building up the song on it. And now I forgot what I wanted to tell you.
I'm sure it'll come back to you.
Yeah.
Well, when you're putting the pieces of the puzzle together, like not only now, but kind of a two-part question that has to do with influences, because obviously you guys have been doing it long enough now that the scope of what influences you has to change. It changes for everybody, and then some stuff sticks around. But out of the five of you, like, can you guys touch on what the biggest influences are in terms of either bands themselves or even just musicians or vocalists? Like, are there specific ones that come to mind?
For all five of us, individual or as a group?
I mean, both, really.
Yeah, like I think for individuals, we all have like different influences, really different influences. And I already told it, I think in some interviews before, we got like on our Spotify page, like an artist influence playlist. There's all five of us, what artists influence us by ourselves. But I think like to say it as a group, it's very difficult mix.
But what is we don't know sometimes, I guess, because this question came up from another guy who asked what are our main influences. And I guess sometimes you don't know which are your influences because you're influenced by a lot of music, because we are listening to everything, really, from hip hop over very emotional songs with just acoustic guitar. And maybe sometimes there are some flows from the vocals in it, which we are using, I don't know. But what is pretty clear when it comes to writing, that we know is it a slope riff, you know? If Philip is playing a riff and maybe it's cool, maybe it's a thrash metal riff or whatever, but we all know, oh no, this is not sounding like a slope riff or a slope drum or whatever. This is a thing we can really distinguish pretty well when hearing something to say this fits to our sound, or even it's not fitting, even though it's a cool riff. Yeah, I guess that's good for us, or that's a good thing.
Yeah, and I think probably the biggest reason why a lot of us think about what your influences might be is because, like I said earlier, the overall sound, especially on Freak Dreams, is kind of hard to pin down, and there are just little things that remind you of somebody else, but it's just one aspect. Like, that's the thing, is that there's different things. I think I brought this up in my video, and I don't know, because this is a band that nobody knows over here in the States, but I somehow got into. But when I first heard you guys, the band Freaky Fucking Weirdos came up, and I don't know if that's a band that resonates with you guys at all.
So we know them because I guess they are from Germany, or yeah. I guess I know one song of them. Sticky Weed. Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's a song I know, and I would say that especially the vocalists, they are really into Beastie Boys. So the style of vocals are really the Beastie Boys style. But I just know this one song. So
that's fascinating, because if I suggest going and checking them out, because they, over their discography, range from stuff that sounds like, Jane's Addiction to Chili Peppers to like, the Sticky Weed is really kind of just one kind of thing that they did. They were a really unique and weird band. I think they're still together. I don't know. But that's why I made the connection, because A, Germany, B, a band that doesn't really fit in any categorization. But to be fair, Sticky Weed's a fucking jam, but but so yeah, that's really interesting. And so I guess when it comes to the band, not necessarily bands that are influencing you, because you guys, this is a good question. Do you consider yourself part of the hardcore scene in Germany?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So we
grew up in it.
Yeah.
Okay. And so over here in the States, hardcore, we're starting to break out of it a little bit, but there was a big chunk of time where hardcore didn't allow for a lot of variation. If you started doing something different, you weren't necessarily a hardcore band anymore. But now, and I know you guys get this comparison all the time with Turnstile over here, they're a band that they're not necessarily doing stuff as all over the place as you guys do, but they are kind of breaking that mold of, hey, we're from the hardcore scene, but we're not necessarily always going to do stuff that sounds just like hardcore music. So we're starting to get out of that here, which is great. But over there, is there a wide variety of what hardcore is, or is there also that strict definition of hardcore that you have to deal with over there?
I would say both. Like, you also have gatekeepers here. Like, they say, this is no hardcore, I don't fuck with it. But the most, like, hardcore is in a pretty good shape, like in our area right now. And most of the young kids, like, I think they're more open-minded to it. Or even back in the days, we always had, like, a lot of underground concerts, a lot of small shows. There was just, I would say, like, nearly every time Just Love brought away. So it was not like we getting, like, put in the corner, like, you're not hardcore or something like that.
Yeah.
But even like with social media and stuff, there you get it. Like you said it in the review. Like, some people say, "Yo, this is the Turnstile ripoff," or "Yo, this is that ripoff." But I think that's like part of the deal. We don't care about it.
I need to say it because I loved it when I was laughing my ass off when you
I was laughing
in your review. You said something like, if you're comparing Turnstile Glow On and Slope's Freak Dreams, it's a ripoff, then you're exposing yourself knowing three bands. And I was laughing because sorry, but it's true. It's true. Yeah. So I would say I would say that there is maybe a vibe, and maybe there is something like, because we are also doing something different, which is colorful and which is not yeah,
like strict
having
hardcore.
this hard and more dark hardcore vibe. But
Yeah.
I would say that is a comparison. And if you listen to early albums from us, like Losing Grip and Pressure to Succeed from Turnstile, and you say that there is a lot in common, then I would say, okay, yeah, that's true, because there was much more in common in the early stuff of our work than now. Because right now there's a vibe which is maybe what people are thinking that's the same. But if you look on the music, I don't know where the groovy hardcore is, but I don't know. I don't see I don't see it.
Yeah, the only comparison, because when I got introduced to you guys, the only word I saw being used was hardcore, and I'm like, okay. But then when I heard the songs, I was like, this doesn't check all the hardcore boxes, but Turnstile checks more of those hardcore boxes than you guys do. So when I see people saying stuff like that, I'm just like, I don't understand where that's coming from, and it really does bother me, because when a band truly is kind of coming out with a sound that's hard to categorize, anyone that just wants to pigeonhole them into something, I just go, guys, stop fucking doing that. Because what you guys are doing with this music and why it's resonating so well with me, because I'm in my mid 40s, I'm about to be 46, but I'm always nostalgic for the late 80s and early 90s, especially the early 90s, because there were so many of these bands over here in America that were on major labels on MTV and everybody's homes. And there were a big chunk of them that nobody knew how to categorize them. But they were popular and nobody gave a shit. It was just like, where the hell does Primus fit in? I don't know. They're fucking Primus.
I don't understand why they are so ever been so popular.
Yeah. And so I've always missed that, and to hear bands that are kind of bringing that vibe back of, we're making the music that the five of us make when we're together, and we're not necessarily interested in a label or even a sub genre. Doesn't matter. It's just, you guys are just doing whatever you're doing, and that's what's so fresh and great about the album. Plus, I got to give you guys another compliment. I've listened to the album now, I don't know, a couple dozen times probably, and I keep getting more and more out of it, just because the songs are kind of they're complex in a way that you don't even really notice the first time. And that brings me back to the songwriting process, because there are so many little moments where vocally it changes up, or the rhythm changes up, or there's an odd time signature part that just happens for about 30 seconds and then never happens again in the song. That's the kind of thing that I would like to be a fly on the wall at your practice space and be like, how did they come up with that part? Like, are those things where somebody says, hey, let's do this odd time, but just for 30 seconds? Like, how does an idea like that come about when you're putting a song together? It's a big question.
I think most of the time it's just a feeling. Like, most of the time we don't count like how many times we do the riff. We just like do it. Jizzy plays the riff, and then we say till there or till there.
Yeah.
Then we like hear it. Does it sound good? And we also got like over the years like this little significant pauses that we sometimes make. It's also the same, like Simon says, it's a feeling of a slope riff or a feeling of a slope pause. Just a quick pause, but it gives a touch to it, like to a slope vibe.
I guess, and when we're writing a song, so maybe we have a riff, and then we are building up on the riff. So Patty's drumming on the riff, and we are looking for it, and then Philip comes up with another riff, playing it after the first riff. And then we said, okay, it's a nice variation of the riff, or maybe something completely different, but we are just looking on the transition from riff A to riff B. So if this is cool and this is sounding good, then we just take it, and then of course there, and to be honest, we have a lot of friends listening to the stuff, and then they maybe say, okay, why you are including this 30 seconds riff? It has nothing to do with the rest of the song.
It's great though.
And then they say, yeah, maybe you can exclude it, then it's easier to hear, or it's more how to say it, comprehensive or whatever.
Yeah.
But we are saying no, it's cool. It's sounding great exactly at this point, and it's kind of weird because some people will not like it, but we like it, and that's the most important part of it.
I think we had one time on this record a thing where we changed our mind on the last song here, Out of the Blue into the Black. There's the part with the drums where only drums stand alone, and after that goes just a single note like dum dum. And I think in original it was twice that time or 3 times. It was so disrespectfully long and boring. I think that was sometime. But when we wrote it, we felt it like, we can do this for 1 minute. It's no problem.
And I guess sometimes it's even harder for us to force ourselves to repeat something, you know? It's harder for us to repeat something than just writing a song which is different riffs, a different series of riffs.
I think on this album we have more like hooks or refrains, chorus stuff than on every other album combined.
Well,
and I think that's what stands out to me is that all of these moments that somebody might hear and go, well, why is that in the song? It's also in a song that also has some really catchy stuff that's kind of just gets stuck in your head. So that the combination of those two is just fucking great. So, but the real question is, and this might be a premature question, but I have to ask it anyway, because the evolution of what you guys were doing from Street Heat to Freak Dreams, there's a definite step in, I don't know, another direction. It's like it's almost like you're just letting the vibes kind of take you wherever that you want them to go. But do you ever feel, and this would basically just be in your own heads, do you ever have any kind of plan of a thing that in the future you would like to do or see the band going at some point?
It's not, normally we don't like have plans, but sometimes there is like when you see something or hear something like an idea, and you catch it and an idea grows in us that we like bring it up to the rehearsal room, but not for like a full album or something like that. Maybe for one song or part of a song. Something
really writing like in the moment. So
I love that. That's honestly, that's the best answer that I could get, because the way the music that you guys do, the fact that there isn't this planned out idea of what you're wanting to do, it leaves it open. And to me as a fan, it feels like it leaves it open to where a couple years down the line, next album comes out, who knows? So you drop the needle on the album and you can expect anything. And so I think that's absolutely great. And another sort of compliment about what you guys are doing, especially when in the world of hardcore, is that you guys are doing this thing where there's hardcore bands that are afraid to have fun with stuff, and then there are bands that I don't think take stuff seriously enough. And you guys seem to be in the middle, where lyrically speaking, the songs aren't silly songs. You've got something to say, and you seem like you're feeling what the vocals and the lyrics are all about. But at the same time, musically speaking, it has this sort of like tackling a serious subject, but musically it feels hopeful, if that makes any sense. It feels like we're in this area and there are things that are fucked up, but we're looking forward. And I feel like that's probably just how all 5 of you guys are looking forward.
Pretty cool interpretation,
Yeah, pretty cool.
I never thought about this, that that this would be maybe someone think about the musics, because I guess the lyrics we are writing, they are more or less regarding the topics and the theories part of the lyrics. It was from the beginning when we start writing songs, because we are rooted in hardcore and we have the themes and topics we want to talk about. And we cannot change, so we could never write text about something fictional, about some I don't know, Lord of the Rings stuff or whatever. It has to be something which really comes out of our hearts. And we never changed it while we changed the style of the music. But I like the idea of bringing some hope into this.
Some people, like, when they don't understand the vocals or don't read the lyrics, they say like we do fun. It was often like when in France, sometimes they say, "Yo, you make so funny music, like it's fun music," and then musical wise it's fun music, but lyrically wise it's like the total different.
I think that's a problem in heavy music in general. All kinds of metal and hardcore is that if you don't take yourself super seriously and let yourself have a little fun, then people seem to think that's what the band's all about. And there's all sorts of metal bands over the years that have been, people overlook the fact that their lyrics aren't funny, but just because they're not serious anyway. But so that's, it's a great vibe for you guys to bring. And especially these days, I'm over here in America, and to say shit's fucked up is an understatement. It's there's a lot to be down about, but Freak Dreams is definitely an album, especially the song Freak Dreams. I got to give you guys props on that one, because that is like my anthem. That is a song that I feel like I have to listen to every day. It just feels, and I don't know what it is. It feels good. And like that's something that's missing in a lot of music, where you can literally put something on and go, this song feels important and good at the same time. So that wasn't a question at all. That was another compliment. I got a couple more questions before I let you guys go. The first one is you've probably been asked this in every interview. What was the basis of the sculpture on the album cover? Where did that idea come from?
So first of all, we wanted, for the artwork, we had a broad idea how it should look like. So it was some sculpture in the middle, and then we wanted some clear background. And we had the idea because we saw it on Instagram that someone was doing stuff with AI, and we thought, okay, let's try it with AI because it's much easier to do. So we wanted our, this we call it Dancing Freak, this from the Street Heat LP cover, and we wanted this Dancing Freak a little bit different, looking more like something, and we tried with AI, but it was very difficult to make something we really liked. So we tried several different ways, everything.
100 times.
Yeah, and it didn't work out. And then we came back to the normal way we're doing things by building them by ourselves. And Chini, our guitarist, he just took some clay and we had ice some small ice and teeth in our rehearsal room. We have a lot of shit over there. It's full, it's messy. And he just pulled out the stuff, and then he started to building this hat.
I have wait, I'll send it to you on Instagram. I have the go through process. Wait,
yeah.
Do you guys see?
And before he built this hat, we had a designer we worked together. His name is Marcel Ströter, and he had the idea of this what is it in English? The half of a hat. So he had the basic idea of it, but it was it was made with his laptop, and it was I didn't like the vibe of it because it looked that you made it on your laptop, You saw it. And then Philip said, okay, I will build it by myself, and then we are doing a photograph. But I wouldn't say that there's a big idea. We wanted to include some stuff which are in our visuals, in our videos, a lot of eyes and this typical, I don't know,
Was willst du sagen?
Schachbrett? Chess,
Chessboard,
chess
chessboard, floor.
floor. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say that there's a big message behind this hat. Maybe it's a crazy hat of all of us.
Yeah, well, it goes, and now that you've mentioned that, it goes with the music. It just came together how it came together, which is perfect. Plus, it like the color wise, everything about it really stands out, and that's another thing. Is it's an image that you're not quite sure what you're looking at, but the different colors, the purple and the blue and everything, it's for some reason it's very eye catching. So.
And we had big time pressure, so because we tried so much with AI, and then we had the pressure to deliver this cover, and then I was already like, come, let's take this cover here, which one I didn't like, and Philip was like, no, I will do it, I will build it in 2 days, and then he built it, and I'm so thankful because I absolutely love this cover. It's my favorite cover of all Slope albums, and I really each day it's on my desk and I watch it each day, and I'm like, thank you, Philip, for taking this task and do it.
It looks great blown up in the vinyl version of the album.
Yeah, exactly.
Which leads me to my last question, which is actually just a question for me. Well, maybe somebody else watching will be into this too. Do you guys know if there is any plans to repress Street Heat on vinyl at any time soon? Because I want one and I can't find one.
we can send you one.
Yeah, we can send you one.
I would love that. Because that's, I love that album as well, and that's one where I've been looking in every corner of the internet. Like, has anybody got one for sale? Not cheap.
Just send us your address on Instagram. We send it to you.
Man, thanks.
I think we had to repress one time, Simon, right?
I think
that is
so.
from the repress, and I don't know if we got 2 colors or 1 color. I don't know.
I don't know.
That doesn't. I don't care. Black is fine too. I don't care. I just want. Yeah. That's how I do my listening. As you can see behind me, I do all of my. My weekends are I sit in my room and I have a beer and I put on records, and that's just I love doing that. Cool. And you guys are in current rotation. So thanks so much for doing this. And I'm really trying to fly the flag over here for you guys and get more people to listen. Just because like I really think that you guys stand out so much in what's going on, not just in hardcore, but in music in general. So every time I get a chance and somebody's like, what are you listening to? I'm like, have you heard Slope? Always bringing you guys up. So
thank you, bro.
And so that's why I was so disappointed when the PR person shot me down to interview you guys. I was like, man.
That is one thing I wanted to mention at the end of the interview. Like, we really want to apologize for that, because we were pissed for it too. Because when I saw it, I was watching the review and I was like smiling the whole time because it was so honest and kind words. It was cool, and then that came up and I was like, fuck. And I was ringing the phone to one of our managers and was asking like, yo, did you hear that? Did you know about it? He was like, no. And then we talked to them. Yeah, shouldn't have happened.
Yeah, to be honest, you may need to know this, because your review was one of the first reviews we maybe heard for Freak Dreams or read. I don't know if there was any reviews out. And it's meaning a lot to us to have someone really listen to the album, and then saying so much things. We are like, yes, man, he understood what we tried to do there. And we were watching it, and Philip, our guitarist, he was sending it. Oh, you already see this review from Old Head? And I was like, no, I didn't see it. And I checked it on I guess we were on tour. We were driving to, I don't know, Berlin or something like this. And I was listening to it, and I was like, man, thank you for the words. Really, it's meaning a lot to us that someone from all over the world, you're sitting in the States, and that you are listening to the music and really going through the music, and that's a big thing for us, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Thank you guys for making it. I hope at some point, I know touring these days, especially overseas, is really difficult, but I hope one day you guys make it over to my neck of the woods, so I can shout along with the songs.
Yeah, man.
But
maybe we can listen to some music in your room.
You're invited. You're invited whenever you make.
So I have one very good band for you. Only a few people know them. They are from the early 90s. They are called Lucy Brown. You can just find it on YouTube. But type in Lucy Brown. I guess you have to type in also a song, because it's very difficult to find. It's like Lucy Brown.
Colorblind.
Yeah, exactly. And then you will find the album. It's pretty good. It's one of the big influences of Slow. Especially for the guitarist.
Lucy Brown. That sounds familiar, but yeah, no, definitely checking that out.
Nice.
Everybody out there, check out Lucy Brown and check out Slope. Yeah, this has been a blast, guys. Thank you so much for doing this. And yeah, we'll speak soon, but continued success over there. Hopefully, hopefully there's a lot more exposure for you guys. Yeah, we'll speak soon. Thank you very much for doing this.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, bro.
Really, thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
See you, man.